Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to make a quick video about there's some drama like on TikTok against the creator Nara Smith, who I'm sure you guys know, and another artist like who name I can't pronounce, but we won't call her Miss O because that's just how I know how to like say the name. But yeah, so basically Miss O is saying that Nara has been stealing her content for quite some time now, and she wanted to say something, but her friends and family told her that she would be like dragged for it, so she didn't say anything. But the final straw was Nara copying two of her recipe videos, which one was making I believe mozzarella sticks, and the other one was making boba tea. And basically, people started dragging Nara and basically saying that, you know, she's stealing from other content creators and blah, blah, blah. And people who already just didn't like her are just going out their way to just follow this trend. But there's another group of people who are basically saying you guys are delusional. The content is nothing alike. One is foraging from like farm to table type food, whereas Nara is more like luxury and high quality items that she buys from the store and then makes her meal from scratch, not necessarily like foraging and farming and stuff like that, like Miss O. But yeah, so some people are saying that she definitely stole this content because when people questioned her about it, like, hey, Miss O said you're stealing content, what's going on? She basically said, I don't know who that lady is. But people pulled up receipts that Nara does know who she is because I guess I might be misinterpreting this because there's not a lot of information, but I'm guessing that Miss O commented on Nara Smith's account, said something like, da 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 da, I'm going through this type of hate. And Nara responds and says, hey, your videos are great. I'm sorry you're going through that. Keep up the good work. And this is the receipt that people pulled when she said, I have no idea who that lady is. Basically saying you do know who she is and you have seen her videos because here's the comment to prove it, which I comment on stuff I forget about all the time. And she didn't comment on her stuff. Miss O commented on Nara's stuff and said like a self-depreciating comment, and Nara came in and said, hey, no, you're great, keep up the good work, don't listen to the haters type shit. It isn't like Nara went and commented on Miss O's page or liked any of her posts or anything like that. So maybe that was the miscommunication, but who knows? Maybe Nara Smith is just the evil mixed lady who's stealing content from a South African woman. I don't know, but I'm gonna let you guys react to some of the videos and we're gonna get into my personal opinion at the end, so sit back and enjoy.
As a lady,
I'm part of my body's reason. Calm down.
People really need to stop acting like the way they are going so hard for Nora Smith is not based upon her aesthetics. I tell people many times that colorism is dangerous just like racism is dangerous, sometimes even more dangerous, because it's like being behind enemy lines. You think that these people are your people, but you find out soon enough they are not your people, and nor do they think like they are your people. Now, whether she stole cooking content or not, I don't really even care about that. But what does find me weird is how people are responding to Onezwa based on the way she looks. That, personally, I don't like it. I'm seeing comments like, Nora is more aesthetic, she dresses nicer. Oh, why would she steal from an African woman? Nora is like half African or something like that herself. Oh, they're both African, so how could she possibly steal for her? Oh, why would she steal for somebody that looks like that? Why would she steal for somebody like that? Why would she steal for somebody who is on a farm? Classism and colorism plays a role in how people are responding to Onezwa. Now, just to make it a point, that it already came out that she lied about the comment, that she has interacted with her content saying that it's inspirational. Now, whether she did do that and forgot, understand that a lie is a lie. No matter how you flip that coin, a lie is a lie. Now, whether she redacts or changes the statement or fixes that statement after that comes out, then that's what you need to focus on. But at the end of the day, a lie is a lie. So you can't say Onezwa made it up in her head. But for those who don't really know history, if you look at Nara Smith, back in the day, not now, but back in the day, Nora would be considered white passing. Now, more European featured blonde hair type are considered white passing because we are more knowledgeable on people. But back in the day, people were so ignorant that they figured all African American people look like my color, darker than me, nappy hair, XYZ. So Nara would be considered white passing. Now you may say, well, how does this benefit? People interact with lighter skinned phenotype people much better. So all the aesthetics, the white husband, the phenotype features, the straight hair, the light skin, the aesthetic house, it all plays a big role in how people are interacting towards this situation. Because many people like that proximity to whiteness, and on top of that, many people want that kind of lifestyle of that high lifestyle. Hence why you'll see her in a custom dress cooking in the middle of the kitchen, and people are literally pointing that out. Oh my God, that dress is so nice. That house is so nice. Oh my God, look at her husband. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. People notice. And people are literally sitting here saying, how could that play a role in this situation? Well, apparently everybody already notices her proximity to whiteness. Everybody already notices it. So you think in a world with a lot of colonization, does that play a role? It does. Whether she stole it or not, I don't really even care. There can be 100 cooking creators. I don't care about that. Everybody's trying to get around the other facts. I don't care about that. But I do care about how people are responding to the other girl based upon looks. Understand that a big creator can steal from anybody. A small creator can steal from anybody. It's the internet. That's how it works. But trust me when I say it's possible. Regardless of how the girl look, where the girl lives, XYZ.
I'm trying to be cool, but goddamn.
Let's start by making the crispy lentils. He requested his mom's chocolate cake, so when everyone went to bed, I started baking. I combined some...
Let's talk about the Nara Smith, and I believe her name is Onezwa. I think I said that correctly. If I butchered it, I'm sorry. There are these allegations going around that Nara Smith has taken her recipes from Onezwa. Now, do I believe these allegations? I don't know. I still feel like I have to do a little bit more research, but from what I can see, Nara Smith stated that she does not follow the creator and has never, seen her videos. Yet there are tweets coming out stating that she has in fact, seen Onezwa's videos and she's inspired by them, which gives us, the viewers, space to look around and see what's going on. Now, Nara Smith has not always had this soothing, calm voice to her videos. She used to just sound like, hey guys, I'm gonna be making the nice, soothing voice that does sound like Onezwa's videos, I'm going to be honest. And I feel like when you have to lie about never seeing this creator or anything like that, but then there's a tweet or anything that says, oh, I'm so sorry for you, I love your videos, that raised questions like, so you do watch her videos. You did change up your voice a little bit, you do watch her videos. And it's okay to be inspired, but give credit when it's due. Like when you're a big creator, you can't afford to lie because people will go back and check.
Excellent. And no, my son did not get to eat beer battered fish. I made him a separate batch. I'm now going to end this voiceover here because I think I might have COVID and I get winded if I speak for too long. But enjoy the rest of the video. Don't forget to order your Emandulo products.
Kale and white bean salad with some salmon. Let's start by making the crispy lentils. He requested...
I mentioned that I would be taking a break from content creation, and I didn't say it on here because I don't think I'll be leaving this space, but I guess whatever happens after these videos will determine if I stay on here or not. And the reason for me taking a break on that platform is that for months now, I have watched a very, very popular content creator use my ideas, and again, I'm not the first person to do anything. They have continuously used my ideas to get views. Now, that would be fine, except in South Africa, we don't get paid for views, and where she is, they get paid for views. So she has been making money off stealing my content. I always managed to change the videos just enough so that I cannot say that they are my ideas. And when I took a break from content creation recently, she then went and moved on to my YouTube and started using ideas from my YouTube. So I have kept quiet for months at a time, just venting to my boyfriend and to my friends, and they've all told me, just let it go, because you are going to be dragged by her mob of followers and you'll get cancelled. And so I've kept quiet. And recently I made a boba tea. We all saw it, we all loved it, and I was so very proud of that video. I tweeted about it, I was so excited for it, and then a day later she made a boba video. And you might say it may be a coincidence. That would be fine if it was a coincidence, except it's a coincidence that happens very often. So is it really a coincidence? I am very disheartened. I am very disheartened because she's making thousands of dollars in views, and I am lucky to get a brand collaboration every 3 months. I can count the number of brands I've collaborated with over the last vision every 3 months. I can count the number of brands I've collaborated with over the last 5 years in probably two hands. It's literally under 10. And I'm so disheartened and I'm so heartbroken, and I feel like it's not worth it for me anymore. Yes, it has never been about the money. It has never been about the money for me, and I have genuinely enjoyed making content. But imagine if you made something for free and somebody took it and they made thousands of dollars out of it. How would you feel? So yeah. And probably the most hurtful thing was when I made that video from that burner account, was people belittling me and undermining my skills, saying that I cook like their grandmothers and there's nothing new that I make. And I loved my grandmother's cooking, and I understand that my content can be very nostalgic, which is what a lot of us love. I love it too. But to undermine the skill that I put in, or the skills that I have, was very hurtful, and all because they wanted to dismiss and invalidate my feelings. So, and also being likened to somebody who has continuously stolen my ideas is also very heartbreaking. You see the comments in my videos about how I'm South Africa's Nara Smith. How am I a version of her when she is stealing my content? All views will differ on what is stolen content and what is not, and I'm okay with that. Like I said, if this is where my content journey ends, then it's fine, because quite honestly I'm very heartbroken. Sorry, I'm very heartbroken. I'm so heartbroken. I loved making these videos. I really did. And if this is where it ends, then it's fine for me. It's absolutely fine. And I would love to say which simply translates.
Go watch her whole video and come back here. I have never seen somebody read somebody else to filth in such a soothing, calm voice. Now, I believe in criticizing my faves. That includes Nara Smith. I have several videos supporting her when people are saying she is just pushing tradwife content and Mormonism. Now, does anybody own recipes? No, they don't. Recipes exist. You can take your own take on them. However, if you are taking somebody's content that they posted 2 days ago and adding your own spin to it without giving them credit, I do believe that's stealing. No, all you'd have to do is say, hey, I saw this video from this person, and then credit them and make it your own video. I'm guaranteed that will still bring in viewers while not being accused of stealing content. Naria, baby, you can do better. Also, I have seen the receipts claiming you don't know this woman and then commenting on her post in February does not look great for you. So let's clear this up. Let's all get back to making content because I love to watch them both. I enjoy watching soothing cooking content because I'm not that good in the kitchen. But please always remember to credit people when you see something that inspires you.
Now, that was one side of the opinions that just feel like some people already were fans of Nara, but they're like, hey, you're stealing from, a South African woman who is a content creator who doesn't have as many followers. And because they look different, they want to compare these two people and basically saying that the one with more privilege is stealing from the one with less privilege. And some of these people liked Nara before, but they still feel this way. And some people never liked her, and they're just using this as like a bandwagon moment to find another reason for people not to support her. But we're going to get into the sides of the people that are either on the fence or just feel like this is completely ridiculous and there is no plagiarism because their videos are very, very different.
I have to be honest now. Like, I've been keeping quiet, but I have to say something. I'm not entirely sold on this Nara Smith discourse. Like, I don't know. I hear the chats about like the trad wife thing and the conservatism and promoting, I don't know, Mormonism, whatever you guys say she's promoting. I don't know. I don't know if I'm sold on that. Like, I think the part where I'm especially iffy is the promotion part of it. Because while I do understand that, we have to be careful of like what kind of content gets pushed online and popularized online. Not everything you see online is meant to be aspirational to you. And you need to be able to discern when something is not an aspiration that is within your realm. Surely. Because like this feels like you seeing a pro skater and then be like, now I have pressure to know how to flip a skateboard. You don't have that pressure. You don't. Surely you don't. And I do get that there are societal pressures around women presenting a certain way in the household and stuff like that. Like, I get that. But there's a lot of projection. That's what I'm suspecting. There's a lot of projection. I think some women see Nara Smith and then get into competition mode, and then that's the part of you that I want you to look at. Like, what are you competing for? Why are you feeling pressure to what? Pressure from who? Pressure to how? I think what worries me about like the discourse around this is that we aren't looking into the fact that while we've had the internet for a while now, we don't seem to have good social media literacy. Because when I first came across Nara Smith's content, so it's pretty lady in a pretty outfit making pretty food in a pretty kitchen with a pretty husband, I was like, oh, this is content. Like, this is so clearly and obviously content. It's packaged in a neat, nice way for you. And that's not to say that, everything's fake, but things aren't 100% real and 100% true, because it's impossible for them to be that way. Like, it's impossible for them to be that way. Like, not everything you see online is aspirational. And I think another content creator said this, but they were like, you can appreciate the beauty of something without coveting it. Yeah, you can be like, this content's beautiful, this content's amazing, this is entertaining, without trying to have it for yourself or putting pressure on yourself to have it for yourself, There's so many things on this internet that I enjoy and I love, and I'm always engaging with, but I know myself enough to know that I can't do certain things. So I'll just appreciate somebody else doing it, right? I'll see Jackie with her white sofas and I'm just like, she cleans them so nicely. And I carry on because I'm not a white sofa girly. And then also there's the chat about her Mormonism. And like, I don't know, guys. Again, I'm not sold because Mormonism has its issues, but so does Christianity. They all have their issues. They all have their issues. So the same way you'll be like, well, Mormonism, like, it's just racist, whatever. Look at your religion very quick. Look at it very quick. Look at what people have done in the name of your religion and circle back. It wasn't all God loves everyone. It wasn't all like that. So I don't know. Again, I'm just not sold on this whole thing. Yeah, just, understand that content is packaged to be content. That's why it's content. It's not. Stop trying to make it your real life. It won't be your real life. It won't be your real life.
I don't think it's fair for us to say that Nara Smith stole everything from Onezwa, and I apologize if I mispronounce her name. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry. But I don't think it's fair because of two reasons. One, Onezwa is not the first person to come online and cook. So that being said, the content idea is like free for anybody, really. And I mean cook from scratch. Like, I'm gonna make a banana from scratch. I don't know. But also, second, trends, mannerisms, characteristics, traits are so versatile online. Like, many people could have the same traits, many people could have the same content, obviously, that if it's not so specific, it's hard for you to put blame on somebody for stealing or for the theft of somebody else's idea. Because cooking and making stuff from scratch is not a very specific idea. Now, what I can say is that Nara Smith was clearly inspired by Onezwa, because it's clear that she picked up her mannerisms. And I can't steal the mannerism, because once again, the mannerism is just ASMR vibe talking. Onezwa promoted a vibe of comfort, like you could probably sleep to that woman's videos, today we're gonna make a muffin from scratch. And Nara Smith ended up picking up the same mannerisms in her content. And can two people who make food from scratch have the same ASMR trend but bring different things to the table? Absolutely. And that's where I think the conversation is off. But before I start with that, I have to say it was kind of weird that Nara was like, oh, I never know who this woman is. I've never known her content, even though there was proof of her commenting underneath one of her videos. That being said, she might have forgotten, because that happens to me all the time. I've picked up mannerisms from people here all the time that I forgot who they were, when they were, all of that stuff. My only discomfort with this conversation is that Onezwa is not getting the same recognition as Nara Smith. She's probably not making the same amount of money, not getting the same amount of engagement, not getting the same amount of deals and recognition, and that's the issue. So instead, I think the conversation should shift, not into which one of the two get to do what they do and get credit for it and get paid for it and get recognized for it, but instead, how can we make room for both of them to stay in the same spot? Well, obviously to like grow in it and, get recognized and all that stuff, but how can we make room for more like Nara Smith, Onezwa, and others? I think something to be mindful here is that often when Black women find themselves in the same field, they fight for the one spot rather than create another spot so that they both can win. And this is how I see this situation. I don't know, I could be wrong. I'm just a nigga in this house.
Y'all could not wait to put my girl Nara in something. Y'all been dying to put my girl Nara in something. This is a stretch, y'all. Like, we're literally reaching. And I feel like because this whole colorist conversation is already a thing now from Miss E. Kane, I feel like y'all about to twist that into this. They literally have two different vibes, two different aesthetics. Both have great content in their own way. That's one. Two, when somebody posts a recipe online, am I tripping? I guess I'm tripping. When somebody takes their time to film a whole recipe, are we or are we not posting it so others can remake it? Would it be ideal if everybody who remade the recipe, everybody who remade whatever it is you decide to film a tutorial to and create, wouldn't it be ideal if everybody tagged you? But the reality is that is not reality. Everybody is not going to tag you, nor does everybody have to, nor do they have to. Nobody owes you anything. Also, how is it Nara's problem that Onezwa is in a country that TikTok doesn't pay? So Nara is making money from her recipes. How is that her problem? How is that her business? Like, it's not. She doesn't owe her anything. When you're posting stuff online, it's literally, sadly, and it sucks, but it's free game, especially when you're filming a whole tutorial on how to do it. That's that. And then, lastly, Nara saying she doesn't know her, nor should she follow her. Could be true. Now, Nara did comment on this girl stuff, but in Nara's defense, when something is going on, especially when something is viral, say if I said a whole thing, if I'm in something or whatever, a whole bunch of strangers are going to comment and say, I'm sorry you're going through this, praying for you, whatever the case is. So who knows if she just bumped across her post and commented on it? Who knows if maybe she did know her content then, but she don't know it now? Like, I don't know. My thing is, I feel like we're reaching here. I feel like we're stretching, we're grasping for air. And the whole colorist thing is already a thing, so y'all about to make that even more of a thing. Onezwa has amazing content. 10 out of 10. Also, y'all think Nara over there cooking from scratch? Onezwa be over there cooking from scratch. Like, she's pulling stuff out of the dirt. Content is amazing. So, I don't know. I think they're just two different vibes, two different people doing their own thing and inspiring.
Okay guys, this morning I woke up with a craving for all-grain flakes. So I decided to make my all-grain flakes from scratch. Wait a minute, should I share this recipe? I'm just scared someone else might copy me and not give me credit. Oh no, let me not share it. Okay guys.
Is Nara Smith authentic? If you've been on this app over the weekend, you're very familiar with the drama happening right now. And I'd like to add a little bit of perspective. My name is Natalia Barlow, and I am an image curator. I fully support women in the discovery, acceptance, and expression of their truest self. And I'd like to introduce you to my tree. Authentic expressions, which are the fruit of the tree, are supported by the trunk and rooted in something. So the question that we're really going to explore in this conversation is her authentic expression, which is supported by her online presence and the people who support her, is that rooted in something that is genuinely authentic to her? Now, comparatively, we're going to ask the same question about Onezwa. Candid conversation. I have no dog in this fight. Honestly, I enjoy Nara's content, and I am now a freaking huge fan of Onezwa. And here's why, for different reasons. I like to watch Nara's content because I think what is most authentic to her is the fact that she is able to live a privileged lifestyle and express from that position of privilege in a way that is very aesthetically pleasing. But then with Onezwa's content, from the moment I engaged with it, I felt like I returned home to myself. And not to get woo-woo on you, because it's kind of what I do, Onezwa's content feels like I'm returning to my spirit home. I spent so much time yesterday watching Onezwa's content because it reminds me of a lot of the content I've seen in like South Korea or in Asian countries, where it's very aesthetic, it's very slow, it's very much so showing you behind the scenes of a person's life. And I saw in her content that she is inspired by one of those creators. And it makes sense because that's an essence, that's a energy thing. And what I like about Onezwa's content is that although she's inspired by that, clearly, the way that she approaches it and the things that she talks about is clearly so her. And I feel like the same thing happens with Nara, that the way that Nara expresses is also so her. My question to the authenticity is not whether the expression itself is authentic, but more so is the transparency and openness about all of the inspiration that she has gathered to produce what she produces. Is that honest? And like I shared before, I have no dog in this fight, so there is no judgment when the answer to that is revealed within the person. My biggest thing is for anyone who desires to express. Please note that when you express from an authentic space that is so rooted in what is true for you, being inspired by other people is just like a way to find that. And if you're in the discovery of what is most true to you, the Originals Guide is coming soon.
You guys have been looking for a reason to cancel Nara Smith for a while now, and now she's being accused of stealing from another content creator and making money off of it. So Onezwa, a small content creator from South Africa who does a lot of from-scratch cooking, recently called out Nara Smith, saying that for years she's been stealing her content and profiting from it.
For months now, I have watched a very, very popular content creator use my ideas.
And there are a lot of comments actually agreeing with this, saying things like the mozzarella cheese and the boba are all stolen from Onezwa, not Nara Smith cravings like she phrased it. Since according to the internet, Onezwa made boba tea, and 2 days later, Nara Smith did the same thing. So naturally, after watching this video and reading those comments, I had to do a deep dive. So I stayed up watching the last few months of Onezwa's content, and my takeaway was that her content was great, but I really don't see the resemblance. Also, is food content something that you can really steal? I feel like so many people make from scratch videos and are constantly taking inspiration from one another that I don't think it's fair to say that one person stole from the other.
All right, y'all. So I just got to say something because my For You page is just flooded with Nara hate right now. And it's just wild. Like, the fact that so many people are jumping on that Nara hate train bandwagon is just completely crazy. Like, people have been mad about her life for the longest. They're completely jealous. Completely jealous. And now for that lady in South Africa to, and I'm not saying her name for the simple fact that, I'm sorry, I checked out her content. I checked out her, the evidence is just not evidencing. I'm sorry. And it's just, it's annoying at this point because I'm like, you chose some random creator in America to be mad at when really, let's be for real about it. Let's clock it. You need to get mad at TikTok. You need to get mad at TikTok. TikTok is the reason why you're not getting paid. TikTok is the reason why your content is not being pushed out like it should. Like, it's TikTok's fault. Not fracking Nara Smith, who has a famous husband, and she herself was a well-known model. So, of course, she has like a built-in fan base, but we're not going to talk about that part. And then I know I can hear people saying now, but that's just evidence of someone with more people stealing from small creator. I'm sorry, y'all. So I went to that lady's page. I could compare them both side by side. Is there a different like set of pages that I'm missing? Because I saw completely different contents. To say that she did my recipe. I'm sorry. I've seen 7 other creators do exactly what Nara and what the other creator does. Do exactly. I even seen big creators that do even closer to what the other lady does than what Nara does. And yet she's not coming for them. And that's why I call it jealousy. Like, if we look at the esoteric behind it all, it is jealousy. Like, I'm at this point, I'm just like, I don't get it. And then what makes me even, more like just kind of like, ugh, is the fact that everybody's jumping on this bandwagon because, once again, there's so many people that's been so mad about Nara's life for no good reason other than the fact that they're jealous of this random woman who gets to live a life that they wish they could when you can go ahead and cultivate that yourself. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm just saying it's possible if you believe. However, though, instead of you focusing on your own self, I've seen people just look for an entryway to tear this woman down. To tear Nara down, and off the basis of she's speaking softly in her videos and she also is cooking things from scratch. Meanwhile, there's a woman, there's an amazing creator that I came across who's in Asia. Not only is she doing closer to content that the lady in South Africa is, but at the same time, she's building the oven, killing the animal, then cooking it from scratch and saying it in a very sweet and soft voice. But yet, that woman ain't coming for her. And then on top of that, for her to say, like, she saw my content and she did. Me as a tarot reader, do you know how many? I follow a lot of people content on and off this platform. One, the algorithm shows you related content. So I see a lot of just esoteric, astrology, tarot things because of who I am on this platform, right? That's the one. 2, I'll be goddamn if somebody say, you know what, you were copying me because I talked about the moon, then you talked about the moon. I talked about the solstice and she talked about the solstice too. Like, me and a million other people. Like, I can see if it was like a word for word, verbatim, but you will not sit here and say that somebody is stealing somebody's something because they decide to cook in a certain method and then say it in a calming voice and then use recipes that has been around since forever. Like, this is another thing. Like, even in the tarot space that I exist in, in the algorithm, like let's say what's popping right now is a love reading. How do they feel about you? What are their thoughts about you? You'll see a lot of readers do the same thing at the same time within the same time frame, within like the same 3 days of each other, because literally the algorithm shows you related content. So the fact that Nara did some related things, I'm like, I'm really looking for the feed where Nara just took this woman's whole life, where she just single black female this woman. I'm really looking for it because it's giving psychosis, it's giving crazy, and it's giving jealousy, not just for her, but everybody that's coming at Nara like that. And it's giving that y'all need to go back outside again, turn off the phone, turn it off, first follow me, but then turn off the phone, go outside. That's it. Y'all had me going off in my bonnet because I'm tired of my For You page being...
Darling, the issue here is not recipes. It's not the fact that there's recipes and anybody can get access to recipes. The issue here is you are mistreating Onezwa. You are mistreating Onezwa because Onezwa is of a darker hue. Because Onezwa is from South Africa, as Lalini, she's from the sticks. You are mistreating her because you are thinking that, you know, Nara Smith should get more credibility and credit because of the fact that she's in a foreign country. She's wearing Chanel when she cooks. She has a white husband. She has a tonality when she speaks. You know, she all of the above. And you are mistreating your queen from South Africa that you should be giving credit to because she does do things from scratch, right? Secondly, the problem is that Nara waits for she waits for Onezwa to go and post content and then gets ideas from her. You know, she uses the same methodology as well that Onezwa uses, the tonality changing. You know, she has a softer voice now when she speaks, but she didn't do that at the beginning. You know, the problem is that, and I'm going to be talking to you South Africans about this, the problem is you. The problem is that you are colonized in the head. You are always putting things from outside on the pedestal. You are always, you know, looking at color and people who look lighter than you, as though they are bigger than you, they are better than you. You do this all the time. You do this. Beyonce has been stealing here in South Africa dance moves. You've never called her out. You've never called her out because why? She's light-skinned and she's got, you know, mfum hair. You've never called her out and you will never, you know. You are always hopping on Americans' shalongs when they are here, and you are treating them, they are in your own country, but you treat them like they are bigger and they are better than you. You don't do this to Africans. You know, you don't treat Africans the same way you treat Americans when they come to South Africa. But you will treat Americans and ride on their shalongs as though, you know, and you fetishize them. It's your impoverished and your mindset that is colonized, decolonized the mindset. That's the problem that I have with the SA people, you know, because now you've been bullying Umtana Bantu because she is Uses Lalini. Some people are like, you know, like there's no similarity here. The other one is milking goats in the sticks, and the other one is in America. They're not even giving her a name. You know, there was somebody who said that girl Onezwa, like when I actually first saw Onezwa's content before I actually saw Nara's content, and I was just blown away. I was like, this girl's just methodology, like even the way she thinks in terms of food, the philosophy that she has in terms of food, I was blown away. But you will never give her that credit, Masata. You will never, you know why? Because she doesn't fit le look and feel le enifunayo. She does not fit that, you know. She is not the standard. You know, she's not the standard that you want to promote. You know why? Because she's being real. Let me tell you something. Most people that are wealthy overseas live the same way that Onezwa lives. The same way. They forage their food. That's how they live, you know. But because in Nina, you are so aspirational. You like shiny things, you know. You like to be those type of people. You will never support her, you know. You would rather support somebody from outside. And I bet you, the way you South Africans, you would rather support, if I started a Louis Vuitton shop here in South Africa, you would never support me. You would rather go to Paris. You'd be like, let me go and buy my bags in Paris. You would never support your own, even if they were here, doing the same thing that somebody is doing in Paris. You would never do that. You know why? Because your mind Your mind is full of colonization, my South African. That's the issue that we have. So I say this to say this. First of all, let's stop talking about this Nara girl and giving her a platform. Let's give our queen, Onezwa, the platform, because she is our own. We need to give her the glory that we are giving to that girl needs to come to Onezwa, because we are familiar with izinto zika Onezwa, you know. She evokes emotions esiziqhelileyo with the food that she cooks, you know, nostalgia, you know what I mean? Anaxesha lebomba tea. I'm not here to debate about ibomba tea. Anaxesha lebomba tea. Ukuthi ngubani oqale enye ngubani ongayiqalanga enye. Let's support our own and stop riding on other people's shalongs abangaphandle. Don't do it to Americans. Don't do it to anybody outside. Let's ride on our people. Here, let me also tell you a secret. You know what? They can't stand her. Americans can't stand Nara. I was in Antigua not so long ago, and I was with some content creators, and they were talking about her, and they were like, she's phony. There's nothing real about her. They did not like anything about her. And let me tell you a second secret. People from outside are always supporting us, you know, because Tina, we don't support our own. You will always find ukuthi umuntu uzoba famous pha ngaphandle more than other famous up. Then when they are famous overseas, then Tina, we are riding on the wave. Let's stop that. You know, we have so much power here. We've seen how much power we have, even like just in pop culture, even on these platforms, like on these platforms that we use, about TikTok, we are so powerful. Why don't we use that power to actually elevate our own people? Why don't we do that? So please, guys, like, let's just team up for Onezwa. Forget about the other person. Give her the flowers.
Yeah, so my personal opinion lies somewhere in between. As an artist, I do feel like you should definitely credit your inspiration and your muses. And when it comes to things like AI and all types of stuff like that, I feel like a lot of artists are struggling, you know, to get their credit and get their residuals and stuff like that. A lot of actors and stuff are going on strike, so I definitely sympathize for that. But I don't feel like that's what this case is. Now, the only part that is throwing me off is that Nara said she had no idea who this person is, but she kind of did. Now, again, she could have forgot, but that's just a little bit sus. If someone's accusing me and my entire career of plagiarism, and I think that I'm pretty unique at my content, I'm going to look at that person and be like, what are you talking about? Who is this? And if I feel like I know this person, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I did know this person, but I'm not going to say I have no idea who that is. And I do know this person, you know, without looking into it. But at the same time, Miss O commented on Nara's post. She made a self-deprecating comment about how people da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and Nara like uplifted her. So I wouldn't remember that either. You know what I mean? So, and another part that kind of gets me is when you watch Miss O's video on what she said, she didn't say anything about, hey, I worked really hard on that tapioca and you stole my my boba recipe. She was only talking about money and attention and fame. And that's the part that kind of threw me off, where Azadiko United, I believe she says something like, colorism isn't about, you know, social justice. It's about social status. And the whole video was about her social status. And I found that very, very interesting. And just to put like a different like spin on it, just so that we're not comparing two women, I recently started getting into human design, and there's something called a projector and something called a generator. And a generator basically, it creates these great ideas, but it doesn't have the will to implicate them. Whereas a projector, they don't generate good ideas, but they have this light, this reflectiveness that allows them to be able to project things that they might not have invented, but they can make better and make other people attracted to it. You ever been somewhere and you say a joke and no one laughs or acknowledges you, but a couple hours later someone else says the exact same joke and the whole table's busting? That's not because your friends hate you. It's because you're probably a generator and you come up with great ideas, and that person is probably a projector and they reflect those great ideas. And these two things can be used together in harmony and in unity when they're both acknowledged, which is why I led with, if you are taking inspiration from someone else's content, you need to credit them. But again, some people are saying that food can't be copywritten and stuff like that. And the only thing that they're really talking about that she stole is the sleepy time voice, which I'm pretty sure I've seen people do before. But again, like, it's really iffy when it comes to art. So that's just my personal opinion on that. So in like regards to when it comes to art and stuff, something I've always noticed great artists say is never be the first to do anything. And there's a lot of different things that come to my head when I think about that saying. One of them is like Nicki Minaj and how she's not the first to do colors and stuff like that. But Little Kim was, but she wasn't, she was the founder of it, meaning she was a generator. She came up with all these great ideas, but she didn't really settle on anything. And Nicki Minaj found a way to project that and make it a brand and make it a global mogul brand. You know what I mean? And I also feel like sometimes when you're a generator and you see projectors getting credit for things that you came up with a long time ago, it's easy to get like jealous and stuff. And another situation I thought of when this happened, I don't know if you guys know Kelly Stamps. I used to watch her a lot. I still do sometimes. She's super hilarious. But there was a girl named Jenna Brown. And she came out and said why I unsubscribed to Kelly Stamps. And of course I clicked on the video and so did a lot of other people, because this was a time where Kelly Stamps was transitioning so many different ways when it comes to financial, physical, spiritual, social. She was upgrading. She was leveling up in so many different ways. So the people that first subscribed to the girl who has roommates in a shitty New York apartment who just wants to follow her dreams could no longer relate to her now that she's, shopping a Louis Vuitton and she has multiple apartments and she can do whatever she wants. They couldn't relate to that. So they unsubscribed. Even I stopped, I didn't unsubscribe at that time, but I was not clicking so much because there was no relatability for me. But once I started leveling up on my life a couple years ago and got my own nice luxury apartment and started traveling the world for myself, I'm still not subscribed, honestly, because I just don't watch her content like that anymore. But I don't feel that feeling that I once felt where I'm like, hey, that's not relatable. But yeah, the girl had made a whole video about it and people were reacting to it and stuff like that. Some people were getting where she was coming from. Hey, I know how it feels to, feel like you're left out, and other people are getting the attention and stuff that you want. Blah, 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 blah. And some people were just flat out calling her jealous and delusional and crazy and a stalker and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just something I noticed. And it also kind of reminds me of Stormy and Ice Spice, where again, we have a darker complected girl saying a lighter complected girl than her, at least. It's stealing ideas from her and that she came up with it first, but this other person is getting the credit for it. So now again, some people could just be plagiarists. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but this is giving some people are generators and some people are projectors. And you need to know how to work your art if you want to put it out there for people to see. And something else I noticed is that they always say never be the first to do anything, because you won't be considered the best because you haven't cultivated the craft and brought it to a new audience that's seeing it for the first time.